Let's go. Y'all see the book we studying? Let's go. Let's go. Y'all see it? Think and Grow Rich. We got some effects going on here. But let's go. What's up, YouTube? Hey. All right, so on TikTok, I'm on Solar Alignment. That's my metaphysical channel. We talk about money, metaphysics, all that good stuff. And on YouTube, we are on the Wealth with Tia channel, okay? And this is where I have all the other episodes of Think and Grow Rich. Y'all see it? You see the title? There it is. There you go. How y'all doing, Darlene? Oh, Cardish. I see you. I don't know if I can do the whole thing. Shirley. How y'all doing? Afternoon, 11 a.m. live, y'all. I've been doing these lives. This is probably my fifth one on this topic right now, Think and Grow Rich. Y'all see the title, right? And I usually kind of do them in the wee hours. Like Monday night between that and like Tuesday a.m. So this is like my first one in like the earlier afternoon. So see who we catch on here. How y'all doing? My name is Batia, and we are going into chapter 2 of Think and Grow Rich. This is probably our 5th episode that we recorded live now. And the recorded videos are on my YouTube channel on Wealth with Tia. Okay. So you can check it out. And so, if you're interested in like digging into this topic, like the stream, share it out if you think that this is, something that's useful or could be useful to somebody else. All right. So really quick, for those of you just, popping on first time you see me, and seeing these lives here, I'm getting into Think and Grow Rich and doing this live because I had a conversation with God. I'm on YouTube live as well. I had a conversation with God probably over a month or so ago now, about finances and all that good stuff. I won't go into the whole thing because we do have the recorded versions at Wealth with Tia on YouTube. But if you want to check that out. But I did, and after I had the conversation with God, I was led to a video by Bob Proctor, which is, he's one of the foremost mentors and manifestors and all that good stuff, right? People who helped so many people become wealthy, right? And in his journey, so I was led to a video of him saying that he basically studied Think and Grow Rich since he was 26 years of age, ever since, like up until the day he passed. He passed, I think probably a couple of years ago now. Bob Proctor, rest in power and rest in peace, right? But when he was exposed to the book Think and Grow Rich, right? This old book that's been around since 1937. I'm sure you heard of it. Okay, you probably even have it in your house or something like that. Maybe you even read it. I don't know. But I don't know how many of us take it seriously or as seriously as we could, right? Like on our journey to wealth. I know, I read a version of it. There's another version, Think and Grow Rich, A Black Choice, by Dennis Kimbro, Dr. Dennis Kimbro. There's, several kind of like updated, annotated versions where people like change wording a little bit and things like that. But, it's a classic. But how many of us really take it seriously? So Bob Proctor, when he was introduced to Think and Grow Rich, he was earning $4,000 per year. Per year. All right, y'all. Now, granted, this was a long time ago. Okay, in the early, 1900. I mean, 1937 was when the book was written. I don't exactly remember the year that the book was introduced to Bob Proctor, Think and Grow Rich, but he was 26 years of age. It was 1961. I got it. I got notes. It was 1961, and Bob received this book from Raymond Stanford, his mentor. And Bob Proctor was not in a financially good spot at all, period. when he was introduced to Think and Grow Rich. You know, this book that we kind of like, I don't know, take for granted, or at least I did. And, you know, I had it, I flipped through it, but I didn't read it consistently, right? And I didn't always, or I sporadically applied the principles. But when Bob Proctor was 26 years of age, earning $4,000 per year, he took this book seriously. His mentor said, look, take the book. If you're liking it live, like it up so we can get more people to, you know, see it and all that good stuff. And if you like this topic, Thinking and Growing Rich, let's do it. Because we got a lot of business people on TikTok. We got a lot of people who are joining courses. I got one in my you know where, right? that you could join for the low, that's what they call it. DBA. I'm not sure if you heard about that one. You might have, because there's a lot of that going on TikTok, right? So we got business people. We have our programs. We have people that may have their own business separate from that. Maybe you are in a TikTok shop, or you want to get in a TikTok shop, or maybe you're doing something on another app, whatever it is, right? Like I have a t-shirt business. It's called Body in God. And thanks for the likes. Let's get the likes. I appreciate you. And this is on my journey to, you know, wealth and stuff. But a huge part of that journey, whether you have a product or a service or not, is your mindset. Is your mindset. You know that, right? If you knew how many programs, I was saying this last week on our other live, if you knew how many programs and courses I've purchased, that I've purchased and haven't consistently done for like 6 months. I'm not even going front on it, because I haven't. I don't know if you're like that, but after a while, that becomes like a waste of money. It's like, what are we going to do? The principles in this book, Think and Grow Rich, teach us so many things, right? There's a step-by-step in this classic book that's been here since the early 1900s, right? There's a step-by-step that shows you one of the things we went over last week, that's stick-to-itiveness, like how to stick to something, even if you don't see results like tomorrow. Because, you know, we all want results like yesterday. But like, even if you don't see results tomorrow or in 3 months, or how about 6 months? Well, we read about somebody last week that it was Henry Ford. He wanted to make this invention that had never been made before. An 8-cylinder engine or something like that had only one. He was just doing his thing, right? Well, he was employing the people to do it. But he told the engineers, I want it and I'll have it. And they were working on this, y'all, for really a year. 6 months in, they were like, this is impossible. We can't make this 8-cylinder thing with one engine, you know, whatever it was. He said, keep going. 6 months. No change, right? Would you work on something like that? Not telling you to be a martyr or anything like that, but would you work? Hey, Earth Angel, One Power, Popsy, like we're talking about the principles that we learn in this book, Think and Grow Rich, right? Henry Ford had his engineers work on something for an entire year and maybe a little bit more until it worked, until it actually worked. Could you see something through for 6 to 8 to 9 to 12 months, other than, you know, having a child, having a baby, right? For the women out there and the men who are waiting, you know, right? Could you see something through for 12 months that is not giving you the results that you desired right away? Well, part of the principles in Think and Grow Rich that has helped so many entrepreneurs and people that had not a lot of education, not a lot of, you know, special skills or whatever, other than blind determination, help them to become wealthy. There are certain skills, and that's what we're going to start to go through today. We're in chapter 2. Welcome. Thank y'all for coming in. Jelly King, like up the stream. If y'all like it, share it out. If you think that this topic, Think and Grow Rich, is something that you feel is useful to yourself or to someone else. My name is Batia. You're on my channel, Solar Alignment. I appreciate you. And let's get it. We're going to get into chapter 2. Let me just put on a little vibe, drink a little water, and let's get into it. Anybody, looking forward to digging into this book that helped Bob Proctor go from earning $4,000 per year to, by the end of the year, reading this book, working with his mentor, but he's reading this book every day, y'all. He started earning about $185,000. That was by the end of the year. So he went from $4,000 to learning and applying all these skills to earning $185,000. Okay, if I remember that correctly. And then within 5 years, he was a millionaire, right? It helped hundreds and hundreds, probably thousands of other people become successful as well. And this was a book, Think and Grow Rich, that Bob Proctor studied every day. He said he didn't put it down. And if you go to my my YouTube at Wealth with Tia, where we have the other lives and things like that, I have a link to the video. You can actually see him talking about it. It has to do with getting on the frequency of money and things like that. All right, y'all. So let's start digging into chapter 2 in the book, Think and Grow Rich. All right. And if you like the topic that we're talking about, like the stream, share it out so that more people can see it. And we definitely appreciate you. Okay. Desire. Chapter 2, Think and Grow Rich. Desire. Okay. The starting point of all achievement. Okay. That's the starting point. You must have desire. The first step toward riches. Okay. When Edwin C. Barnes climbed down from the freight train in Orange, New Jersey, more than 30 years ago, he may have resembled a tramp, let's say a poor or a person who didn't have a lot of money, right? Let's say that these are the old, they use these old English terms, all right? He may have resembled somebody who didn't have a lot of money, but his thoughts were those of a king. So we went over this probably a couple episodes ago. It's in an earlier chapter. Edwin C. Barnes is the man who thought his way into a partnership with Thomas A. Edison, the inventor. Okay. And when Edwin C. Barnes did this, he didn't have any money to get to the man. Okay. He did not know him. He had no kind of like reputation or anything like that. So he jumped on a freight train to get to Thomas Edison. And then he started, at the bottom, and now he was here. You heard me? That's what happened, right? But it didn't happen overnight, but it happened. That's an old, like a shampoo commercial. It won't happen overnight, but it will happen. I don't know if I'm telling my age, but all right. Anyway, so they said he resembled somebody who didn't have a lot of money, but his thoughts were those of a king. He thought himself into a partnership with Thomas Edison. He said he didn't only want to work for him. He said he wanted to be his partner. And guess what? After some months, though, it took time. He did it. What kind of relationships or opportunities are you thinking yourself into? What kind of relationships or opportunities? Because that's where it starts. It starts in the mind. What kind of opportunities and relationships are you thinking yourself into, right? Or can you, right? Because we're from now till, so like, what do we see in the future? What do we desire? So desire is the starting point of all achievement. This is what Napoleon Hill is telling us right now. As he made his way, Edwin C. Barnes, from the railroad tracks to Thomas A. Edison's office, his mind was at work. He saw himself standing in Edison's presence. So he saw it first, y'all. He heard himself asking Mr. Edison for an opportunity to carry out the one consuming obsession of his life. A burning desire. This is a theme. And we're not telling you to be, like crazy with it or anything like that. But you have to have a persistent, consuming, consistent, I said it again because it's consistent, desire for something in order for it to come true. Hey, Cheku 7772. I love 777. That's my favorite number. 7. Come on, let's go. Like up the stream. If you're liking it, let's go. We talking about Thinking and Growing Rich and how Edwin C. Barnes thought himself into this partnership with Thomas Edison. Okay, so he had a burning desire to become the business associate of the great inventor. When this man, before he had a dime to his name, but he did it because he was determined, and he had a consuming obsession and a burning desire. Okay, Barnes's desire was not a hope. Okay, so we're saying here, or Napoleon Hill is telling us that desire is not hope, is different, right? So now we need to find out the difference between desire and hope. Now, can we guess the difference between? I would say, and I haven't read this part yet, so we doing this in real time, y'all, that when you hope something, it doesn't have the action behind it. It's just probably really simple, right? If something is an actual desire, that means you're willing to put the energy behind it to make it happen. Now let's see what happens. Okay. So Barnes's desire was not a hope. It was not a wish. It was a keen, pulsating desire, okay, which transcended everything else. It was definite. So he's saying, look, this ain't just like something that's fleeting. I think I want to do this. I'm not sure. He said, look, this just consumed his mind. What do you desire to do? What's your goal? Do you have a business? Is it to create a business, right? Is it to get your LLC? Okay, see, I have my LLC, right? I got it a few years ago because I had bought a course that I was, thinking I'm gonna get all this money and stuff like that. So I'm like, all right, let me start separating my finances, right? And I got my LLC. It's a process. Maybe I can, help y'all with some advice on that if y'all need some advice on it, maybe another time. Who knows, right? But that's something that I did. You could have done the same thing, or maybe it's a desire, right, that you want to do. You don't have to do that before you start any business endeavor. There is a small fee, a fee with that, maintenance and all that good stuff. But that could be a desire, a business. This could be a relationship. This could be a health goal. This could be a body goal, right? So whatever it is, he said the desire was definite, okay? The desire was not new. I'm reading from Think and Grow Rich, my copy right here. The desire was not new when he approached Edison. So when he approached Edison, everything was already well formed in his brain. Everything was already well formed in his. He already achieved the goal by the time he went to Thomas Edison. He was probably already his partner in his mind. Can you see things in your mind before they happen? Or are you a person who tells yourself, nah, I'm never going to be able to do that? Which one? The universe is telling us right now that we need to make a choice. You need to make a choice. Because nobody, for real, okay, as they say, can stop what you put into your mind. Hello. That's the one area that nobody else has control of. Nobody. You could think about whatever you want. But as we learned last week, and as we learned in this book, Think and Grow Rich, whatever you do consistently put in your mind, and you may even know this already, right? But are we practicing these things consistently? Whatever you do put in your mind becomes a real and tangible thing. I don't want to say real. It's already real in your mind. It becomes a more tangible thing. Why? Because Napoleon Hill already told us last week, through the last chapter, previous chapter, that the universe's job is to turn your thoughts into things. That's the job of the universe. Okay, that's the job of the universe. I'm looking for something. I have a little book. I don't need it right now, but I have a little book on universal laws, and I popped that out last week, and we looked at one, and it talked about something like that. But basically, Napoleon Hill is telling us, look, um, the one job of the universe, one of the main jobs, is to turn the consistent thoughts that you have in your mind to real and tangible things. Okay. So, what are you consistently putting in your mind? Right? That's the question. All right. So, let's get back to desire. Like up the stream if you're liking it. Give me some hearts. I love the hearts. It's all good. If you feel like this subject is something that is helpful to you or someone else, share it out. Give us a like so that the stream can be shared with more people. We definitely appreciate you. Okay. So the desire was not new when he approached Edison. It had been Barnes's dominating desire for a long time. In the beginning, when the desire first appeared in his mind, it may have been, probably was, only a wish. But it was no mere wish when he appeared before Edison with it. So at first, it was small, right? It's like anything else starts out small when you begin. And then it became bigger and bigger and bigger because it started to gather traction. It started to gather energy, really. And the longer a thought stays in your mind, it gathers power, right? It gathers power. And so Edwin C. Barnes, it started, as a hope. Oh, I really want to be Thomas Edison's partner, and business partner and all that good stuff. But then he kept thinking about it. It kept thinking about it. And how can I do it? And how can I? And that's another phase. Then you start to ask yourself how. Then you start to ask the universe how. You might even pray. You ask God how, to help you, whatever it is, right? People talk a lot about manifestation, right? So you start to get into the hows, and then things begin to grow. So a few years later, listen to this, a few years later. So it doesn't always happen right away. And guess what? And that's okay. It's okay. Because if you do something consistently, it's going to have a result. A few years later, Edwin C. Barnes again stood before Edison in the same office where he first met the inventor. This time, his desire had been transitioned into reality. He was in business with Edison. Wow. The dominating dream of his life had become a reality. What is the dominating dream of your life? Do you have one? Do you have a dominating dream? Because if you do, well, first of all, you have to start with a dream. Okay. And if you had a dream, then bring it back up because, it can be achieved. So when it becomes a dominating dream, eventually it can and more than likely will become a reality. Today, people who know Barnes envy him, right? So in his time, people who knew Edwin C. Barnes envied him because of the quote, break that life gave him, okay? They see him in the days of his triumph without taking the trouble to investigate the cause of why he succeeded, right? Some people, I don't know, maybe they treat you like that. But they see you, on one of your good days, right? You put it together, right? All is good. And they might look at you a certain way. Oh, yeah, she made it. Oh, all right. Oh, he made it. They don't know. And then they try start shading you a certain way. They don't, first of all, they don't even know the thoughts that you had in your private thoughts, right? They don't know that. They don't know the challenges that you have to overcome or had to overcome to get where you are or where you were or where you're going. And some people just see your end, or I'm gonna say your end, right? But your successful portion of your journey, and they don't know all the things that you had to do to get there. So they did this to Edwin C. Barnes, and they envied him. I mean, it just is what it is. But if we could just all remember that everybody has a journey, right? And even the people who so-called succeeded in life, there was a time where they weren't that person. I'm just saying. They weren't there. They had the, ingredients, if you will, right? But it wasn't all mixed together. I'm just saying. So we don't have to envy anybody. And nobody has to envy us, because we all have a process. Okay. And Edwin C. Barnes had one, right? So they did not take into consideration or investigate the cause of his success, right? So Napoleon Hill is going to start to break down the cause of success in this book, Think and Grow Rich. Barnes succeeded because he chose a definite goal. That's one. He placed all his energy, all his willpower, all his effort, everything back of that goal. He placed all of his energy into one goal. He did not become the partner of Edison the day he arrived. Okay. Sometimes we get discouraged. I'm just saying. I was exercising today, right? I was exercising today. And I'm actually on another journey. So some people exercise to like lose weight, right? So I'm exercising like to gain weight, stuff like that. Cause I changed the way I eat for like spiritual reasons. I'm low carb. It's a whole thing, because food does affect our reality, right? So I like to eat fruit. I like to eat, chlorophyll foods. If it's green pepper, right? That's a fruit. It has chlorophyll in there. When we eat those foods, we're putting the sun into our body, right? So I'm not trying to be dogmatic or anything. I'm not trying to say that's all you need to eat, because I'm not necessarily even a vegan or anything. I eat some animal protein, right? Some fish, little eggs and stuff like that. But the way I eat, I lost a lot of weight, y'all. And I really wasn't trying to do that. That was not my goal. I'm just saying, some people have an opposite goal, right? Whatever your goal is, you can achieve. But my point of bringing this up is, I started today. I was just like, look, I'm starting to realize that the way I eat is just, is not giving me like the weight that I want. I want to look healthy. I want to look, but I want both things. I desire both things. I desire to have a great spiritual life. I desire to have, quote, positive manifestations come into my life. And I know that food is a part of that. That if a person eats a food that is, quote, unhealthy, I'm gonna start preaching here just a little bit. So this is what I do. This is what I do. That's full of starch and things like that. These foods, or let's just even say, what's the term? Inflammation, right? So let's say a person eats an inflammatory food, right? That could be, some people say dairy is inflammatory. It could be, it's a number of foods. Maybe I'll Google a list of inflammatory foods, right? So if a person eats an inflammatory food, do you think that one would not experience an inflammatory event? Now, this is solar alignment. This who you, if you like, little metaphysical stuff like this, follow me, because Lord willing, I'll start to get into more of this. But I'm very much into what I like to call food alchemy, really, or food manifestation, right? So this could be anything, any inflammatory food, right? I really need a list. Okay, so I see there's a thing, 35 foods that cause inflammation, right? Should you avoid them for better health? What is inflammation? Really quick. And I know we talk about Think and Grow Rich, but all of these are a part of what goes into our brain chemistry, what goes into our body chemistry. We're talking about goals and all this stuff, right? Inflammation is a part of your body's response to fight off of infection, injury, or irritant that you're exposed to, right? Okay. So, can one place an inflammatory food, right, that causes, what did they say? That causes an irritant to your bowels, let's say, right, to your intestines, and not think that that person will be irritated in an event in their life? It's all the same. When you get into, you know, these metaphysical sayings, if you will, right? There's one that's pretty popular. As above, so below, right? You probably heard that before. As within, so without. So one cannot cause inflammation within the body without experiencing also, after digestion, an inflammatory event, like an argument or something like that, because they work together. Whatever happens inside of your body happens outside of your body. And that's the way it goes. And so because I know this, and I've been studying this for 12 years, ever since I had a fast in 2012, and I learned that when you change the things that you put inside your body, you actually begin to change your outer reality, right? So it's not just our thoughts and all the things like that that change our reality. It's actually what we're consuming. That's a major part of it. And so when I started to learn that, I've been on this journey for the past 12 years, particularly the past 7 years. That's when I really started like getting a little bit more serious with it. And now I'm kind of stuck. And there's so many foods that I used to eat that I don't anymore. And I lost a significant amount of weight that I didn't necessarily want to lose. But my point of bringing all this up was that I was exercising today, right? And, I don't really see a change. Obviously, it's the first day, right? And but you know what? I did feel good. I felt good. And certain other positive things happen. I was like, okay, because when you start to like move your body, your blood and all that starts circulating, right? You circulate your blood, that's healthy. Remember, whatever happens in your body happens outside of your body, right? And so anyway, these are part of things. But I wanted to kind of bring that up because it said here that, look, this stuff, whatever your goal is, like my goal is, if I can gain 10 pounds, that'd be great. 10, 20 pounds. And again, the way I eat is not going to necessarily happen through food only. So I got to like put the work in a different way. So we'll see. I don't want to give up. I've been back and forth with this, y'all, because I live in both worlds, right? The spiritual world and the physical world. And, so, but that may not be your goal, but whatever your goal is, just know that being on the path is being on the path, right? Is a huge part of you making it happen. Okay. Basically. All right. So he placed all his energy, his willpower, his effort, everything in that goal. And he did not become Edison's business partner the day that he arrived with no money, getting off a freight train. Okay. Because Edwin C. Barnes he had no money at the time. No backing. We talked about that already. 5 years. Wow. Wait a minute. Hold on. I jumped ahead a little bit. He was content to start in the most menial work. He was content to start at the smallest level. Are you content to start at the smallest level to get where you need to go? So, like, let's just say, what if you want to, have a successful, business, or leave your 9 to 5, or lose the 30 pounds, like, whatever it is, right? What will be a way that you could get the goal, start to put yourself in the room, let's just say, right? To start with the most menial, as they say here, level, keeping your dignity, of course. You could get in the room like you're doing something like that now. We're studying these books and things like that. All right. Kingzilla, what's going on? Like up the stream if you're liking it. Appreciate you. Share it out if you feel like information like this is useful. Think and Grow Rich. That too. Youthful. All right. So how do we do that? There are a lot of course creators who just create free not like lives like this, but like free intros to their courses. Haven't you seen those, right? Like, join my free live, or my free course, and I'm gonna teach you about this or that, right? And they have a program or a course to sell you at the end of it. I don't necessarily. I do if you click that what and where, if you choose to do that, right? But that's not what this live is for. This live is because the universe told me to study this book, and also God put it in my mind. There was a thought that put in my mind, do it on live. I said, oh, okay, because I was going to read Think and Grow Rich anyway, because that's what came to me after I prayed to get into the line and frequency of money. This was over a month ago. And then that's all Bob Proctor's video, how he studied this book every day for years and years and years and years and years. And he started reverse engineering and trying to figure out how he succeeded, because this money just kept coming and kept coming. He didn't know what was going on. But he said he kept this book around. Got all the effects on you. He kept this book around, Think and Grow Rich. Okay. So how can you get in the room and start the task on a smaller level? Get on some of these, like you're doing here. Appreciate you. Get on some of these lives, these free. Get in the room of the people that you desire to be like, right? When you see Tony Robbins and all these people, whatever your goal is, and if they're, offering like a free course or something, get on there. Even if you don't have the intention, I'm saying at the time, to, purchase the course or whatever, get in the room with these people. Get that energy within you to consistently see that it's possible, that it can happen for you. Or when you see that something is possible for somebody else, then it's possible for you. So that's the first thing. Get into these rooms. Okay. So Edwin C. Barnes was willing to start with the most menial tasks or the most menial work, right? As long as it provided an opportunity to take even one step toward his cherished goal. That's all he needed. He just needed one step toward his goal. Okay. Wow. 5 years passed, y'all, before the chance he had been seeking made its appearance. I got to pause right there. That's a long time. That's a long time to have something in your mind and, I don't know, for it not to become a physical reality, right? How many people would get discouraged if they didn't see something happen for 5 years? I don't know. Napoleon Hill is telling us. Edwin C. Barnes, he put himself in the room, but he did not achieve his goal till 5 years later. But at least he was in the room with Thomas Edison, right? But the opportunity for him to become the partner and help Thomas Edison sell this invention, because that's how he became his partner, it happened in 5 years. Wow. That's all I got to say. That's patience. This is one thing I love about reading this book, y'all, Think and Grow Rich, is because it teaches you that, first of all, we're not talking about, quote, overnight success. This is not what we're talking about. Overnight success. Okay? And just because it don't happen yesterday don't mean it's not going to happen. All right? So realize that whatever your goal is or was, if you had a goal, you could pick it back up now. But if it didn't happen in 6 months or a year or whatever, like, you're not a failure. Okay? The only failure and failing is when you stop. That's it. That's the only thing in life that guarantees failure is when you stop. What else could? Because any other kind of effort is going to create motion in the universe. Now, it might take a while, but you can guarantee something is going to happen towards your goals if you keep going. So 5 years passed before the chance he had been seeking made its appearance. During all those years, not one ray of hope, not one promise of attainment of his desire had been held out to him. Wow. To everyone except himself, he appeared only another cog in the Edison business wheel. But in his mind, in his own mind, he was the partner of Edison every minute of the time, from the very day he first went to work there. This reminds me of the people who, let's just give it up for Edwin C. Barnes. Let's just give it up for him. Dang, that is some determination right there. Man, if I'd have stuck through some of those courses I had bought, I would have succeeded in them, but that's okay. Because it's not too late. Because I still got them, and I'm still working on some things, right? T-shirt business, all that good stuff, right? So I'm doing that currently and doing these lives. Hey, with y'all, what's going on? You know what I mean? Because opportunities always come, but it's like you're going to stick to it. Are you going to have that Edwin C. Barnes stick-to-itiveness? Let's give it up for Edwin C. Barnes. That is crazy. All right. And I mean crazy in a good way. So there are people who talk about like these manifestations, and they talk about being delusional. I don't know if you've heard of that before, right? It's like they keep these things in their mind, and it sounds like kind of, I don't know. No, it sounds like determination, right? But on another hand, it could sound, well, delusional. It could sound like, it doesn't work. But there's something to, let me see if I can type in manifestation, but it's something to holding a thought in one's mind consistently and allowing it to become real. All right. This is just a random video, but this is stuff I kind of listen to sometimes, or I hear people talk about videos like this. And let's just see what this person's talking about. How being delusional is the secret to manifestation, right? This is from House of Hibration, to give credit where credit's due. And I'm not gonna play it too long because TikTok and all. We don't want no, we don't want no issues, right? But I just to give an idea, right, of what people are saying about this type of thing. All right, let's see what she said.
Neville Goddard say circumstances literally do not matter because them not texting you, them not calling you, them not choosing you is relevant in the slightest. Or did he say circumstances literally do not matter because they literally do not matter?
All right, so this is a very interesting channel if you want to kind of get into manifestation. Her channel is called House of Hibrations, and I do watch her sometimes. Delusional is the secret to manifestation, and she's talking about Neville Goddard, which if you haven't heard of him, hello, where you been in the manifestation streets? No, he's like the grandfather of making things happen for your mind, knowing that you and source are one, right? And all that good stuff, right? So she's talking about how Neville Goddard is just talking about how circumstances, don't really matter when you are seeking to create a reality that's different than what you see, that's different than what you're experiencing. That the circumstances that you see are a result. This is what it is. The circumstances that you're living in now are a result from choices and thoughts and actions that you have done in the past. You know that already. So why do we get fooled when we see that, I don't know, the person is not responding in the way, right? She talks a lot about relationships. Whatever, that you look a certain way. Like I could look at, I told you I have a goal of, gaining some weight, right? I said gaining 20 pounds, 10, 15. I'd be happy with 5 forever. 10, 15, 20 pounds, right? That I lost, that I wasn't trying to lose. I lost about 30 pounds, y'all. It's crazy. I mean, if I was overweight, that's one thing, but yeah. So these circumstances that I find myself in, that we find ourselves in, like the financial circumstances you find yourself in, the job, the whatever, is not something to come to discourage you. It's something to educate you and to show you where your thoughts have been and where your efforts have been in the past. So don't base your happiness or sadness over what you're currently experiencing. You'll begin to change it. I know it sounds easy, people just say, but you begin to change it. If y'all liking up the stream, like it up. We got 95 likes in here. I appreciate it. I appreciate y'all. Share it out if y'all feel that this is a useful information for somebody. Change it. And when you begin to get on that road of change, do not be discouraged if you don't see the change. Edwin C. Barnes did not see the change for 5 years. That's a lot. But I mean, how many people are enduring in relationships that is not working for that long? Hello? I did it before. I'm just saying. It is what it is. Come on now. So how about you put the effort and energy into something that you love for that long and see what happens? Not something that you're just trying to endure. How about that? That's a word. Hello. Ding, ding, ding. All right. I got a little clapper here. Let me see. That's a word right there. That's a word. All right. I like making noise. There we go. Okay. Put the effort into something that, like, if you're going to endure with a positive thought. Don't endure with the you know what. Don't endure with the you know what in your life that you don't desire. Because too many of us are doing that. We are already doing that. Okay. A lot of us are at the jobs already that we don't desire because we want to be free. Or whatever the situation is. You have proven that you can endure a situation that you do not desire. How about start putting the thoughts in your mind of things that you do desire and endure in that? Okay? That's the word of right now. There we go. All right. Okay. So not one ray of hope did this man have of becoming Thomas Edison's business partner in 5 years. All right. But in his mind, and it said, to everyone except himself, he looked a certain way. So there could be people in your life looking at you a certain way. So what? They can't control what's in your mind. I don't care what's going on in society. What they try to do to try to control people, because they always try to control people all the time. We know that already. But sorry, not sorry. They still cannot control the human mind. And guess what? Never will. Never will. That's your job to control. As a co-creator with your higher self, the source of this entire thing that we call life. Some people call it a matrix and all that good stuff, right? This video game that we're playing, that God is playing as us. Nobody can control your mind but you. Are you going to take control of it? That's the question. Are you going to take control of it? Everybody else around this man saw him a certain way, except for him. And guess what? That was enough. the thoughts that he had about himself was enough to hold a vision long enough for it to come to pass. Okay. I don't know if you ever heard this statement. I'm going to write it down because see, when things pop into my mind, I like to jot down notes. I'm taking my doing my lives and stuff like that, right? Because it could become something else. Okay. One with God is the majority. You ever heard that? One with God is a majority. Okay. And if you type that in, you'll find a lot of people, kind of like talking about it and bringing up biblical verses that illustrate that. Just one. If you're the only person in your life who feels that you can achieve this goal, that you can have this success, that you can become this, this supervisor, this person. And again, we're not just talking about deluding oneself necessarily, right? To go on a path that's just like really not aligned for you. But if it feels comfortable and natural and, all that good stuff, but it just hasn't happened yet, one with God is the majority. Then your thoughts alone and your source, your higher power, can help to make it happen. And do not become discouraged if it doesn't happen overnight, or as we're learning, within 1 year or 5 years, apparently. But if we have endured more challenging and difficult things, like some of these toxic relationships people are attracting, okay, that can come in the form of friendship, romance, jobs, whatever, relationship with food, whatever. If a person can endure that they don't desire, how about you endure and hold into your mind and have some kind of consistent effort towards a goal that you seek to achieve? How about that? Praise the Most High on that one. Okay. All right. So, in his own mind, he was the partner of Edison every minute of the time from the very day that he first went to work there. All right. If you're liking the live, like it and share it out. Appreciate you. All right. Let me see if all right, I don't think it. Okay, I was going to try to. I'm not going to do it right now. All right. It is a remarkable illustration of the power of a definite desire. Barnes won his goal. You can win your goal. All right. Because he wanted to be a business associate of Mr. Edison more than he wanted anything else. He said that's why he won the goal, because he wanted it more than he wanted anything else. He wanted to achieve the desire more than his doubts that he could not. How about that? Is your desire for something higher than your doubts that you cannot achieve it? How about that? Because when your desire is higher, you got a little rhyme in there, is higher than your doubts, they're more likely to happen. Okay? Are we feeling this? Are we feeling this? Y'all be quiet. I'm just, I'm getting used to TikTok. Y'all be quiet up here. But if you want to, make a comment, and we can have somewhat of a dialogue a little bit, as we go. in and out the books. All right. Appreciate you. It is a remarkable illustration of the power of a definite desire. Barnes won his goal because he wanted to be a business associate of Mr. Edison more than he wanted anything else. He created a plan by which to attain that purpose. See, there it is. We talked about that a little bit earlier. Because this is what begins to turn the hope and the dream and the wish into physical reality. When you start to make concrete plans. But in order to make a plan with something, you got to know and feel that it's something that can be achieved. All right. So don't psych yourself out. Hold it long enough, and then you begin to make plans. The universe is going to show you this naturally when you hold these goals long enough. Okay. This is what he did. He burned all the bridges behind him. Now, this is Napoleon Hill telling what I'm not necessarily telling you to do this. Some people, it works for some people, but sometimes you got to see success in a certain area before you kind of get rid of certain things in the past, sometimes you have to see the success in the business before you, hold on. Sometimes you have to see success in the business before you, leave the job or something like that, right? But sometimes it works for some people to just get rid of everything. But this sounds like what Edwin C. Barnes did. He burned all bridges behind him. He stood by his desire until it became the dominating obsession of his life. And finally, a fact. Finally, a fact. When he went to Orange, he did not say to himself, Orange, New Jersey, right? He did not say to himself, I will try to induce Edison to give me a job of some sort. He said, I will see Edison and put him on notice that I have come to go into business with him. Well, excuse me. He said, I'll put him on notice. How many people are you putting on notice in your life that you have arrived? Hello? I've arrived. You might not see me there right now yet, but I'm there. Because if I could go there here, I can go there in tangible and physical reality. Okay, that's what I could do. I just do that to wake us up, because I can go long and talking and all this stuff. But if I could go there in my mind, I can go there in physical reality. So he didn't say, I'm going to try to do anything. He said, I'm going to see him and I'm going to put him on notice that this position is mine. I know that's right. All right. He did not say, I will work there for a few months. And if I get no encouragement, I will quit and get a job somewhere else. He didn't say that. He did say, I will start anywhere. I will do anything Edison tells me to do within reason. I mean, we keeping our dignity here, But before I am through, I will be his associate. This sounds like Henry Ford when we did the chapter last week. When Henry Ford, again, I talked about it a little bit earlier in the live when he said, I want it and I'll have it. I know y'all been working on this for 6 months. I know you've been working on this for a year. And I know you're saying it's impossible, but I don't, that word is not in my vocabulary. I desire it and I'm going to have it. So please continue to work on it. And guess what? It worked. So he said, no plan B. That's what he said. No plan B. All right, we're talking about, in life, right? No second, thing. This is our goal. All right. He did not say, I will keep my eyes open for another opportunity because, this might not work. In case I fail to get what I want in the Edison organization. He didn't say that. He said, there is but one thing in this world that I am determined to have. That is a business association with Thomas A. Edison. I will burn all bridges behind me, this is what he said, and stake my entire future on my ability to get what I desire. How many of us had that determination? How many of us had that determination? LaDonna, babe, what's going on? Suave 777. Popsy, you still on here? I see a few people just, sticking in on a live. We appreciate you, and people coming in and out. Probably some people in the hallway, right? How many of us are willing to have that determination? Just that consistency. That says a lot. There's a theme in this book, y'all, of why so many of these people, hundreds of people, became, successful entrepreneurs, millionaires, whatever, particularly in the challenging times that they were in. There's a lot of determination in here. If it's one thing that I'm starting to, take from this book is like, keep going. Like, I know it might sound pie in the sky and all that. Keep going. Because every time you hold a vision long enough, again, it starts to create traction. Think about the process of having a baby, okay? Whether you are, a male watching and knowing the process and learning how a woman carries a baby, or you're the woman and you're the one who's carrying the child in your body, right? Think about that process. It starts off, yes, I don't know if we get political or not, at conception. Everything, or at least the groundwork, spiritually and all that, and the essence of that child is there. It's there. Now, with time and months, it starts to take on, as the Bible says, sinews and flesh. I'm thinking of the dry bones. Is that Ezekiel 18? It's time for your dreams to take on sinews and flesh. Come on, somebody. Okay. And that takes time. Ezekiel 37 is the dry bones. All right. Sinews and flesh. But it takes time, just like having a child and forming that spiritual being that's going to become a physical being. It's going to take time for your dreams and goals to manifest. And don't get discouraged if it doesn't happen right away. So that's a theme. Okay. All right. So he didn't say, I'm going to keep my eyes open for another opportunity in case I don't get this. He said, there is but one thing in the world that I'm determined to have. And that's a business association with this popular inventor. And even though I don't, at the time, he didn't have the money to do that and the reputation and the experience even. He had the determination and he went there and he achieved it. Thomas Edison, okay, and Edwin C. Barnes said, I will burn all bridges behind me and stake my entire future on my ability to get what I want. He left himself no possible way of retreat. This is what worked for him. Some people have to, they got to go that far. Okay. I don't know. I kind of feel like I'm that way with the food thing. Because I've been going back and forth for years, trying to, you ever learn something in your life and you just can't unknow it? You ever learn something? It could be something about somebody else, right? You ever heard something or found out something about somebody, and now you just can't unknow it. You can't go back sometimes. So that is a philosophy. And I just feel like that with the food thing. So I'm just like, well, what am I going? Because if I'm not going back to the old foods I used to eat because I don't like this, I love the way starch and stuff tastes, but I don't like the things that start to happen in my life when I eat it. So now I got to go a different direction. I got to go a different route. I got to exercise. I got to build it up a different way. Maybe eat a little bit more eggs or something. Something. Take what I have and just try to do more of that and redirect. But sometimes you do have to burn a bridge. Sometimes you have to do that. You know, you might tell yourself, okay, look, is this business? I'm not going to invest in another business. I invested in this course. I invested in this business, whatever it is. And I'm going to stick to it. Whatever it is. Sometimes you do have to just make it where you are not going to go back. And this worked for him. Okay. He left himself no possible way of retreat. Napoleon Hill is summing it up for us. It said he had to win or perish. He had to win or be destroyed. He had to win or that was it. That was the choice. That's what he gave himself. He said, it's either this or I win. Period. It's either this or I win. Sound like one of Les Brown videos. It's either this or I win. That's it. You heard what I said? That's it. Les Brown said, it ain't over until you win. Okay? Damn. Y'all feeling that? Let's take a little music break for a minute. It's not over until you win. Okay? Y'all liking this right now? If y'all like it, like the live, share it out. Because it ain't over till you win. You heard me. Okay? And that's what Edwin C. Barnes said. He said, baby, it ain't over till I win. And then he make it happen. All right, let me see, y'all. Because I love, you just got to just bring some of this stuff up and listen to it for a minute. Let me see. Let's just bring this up and see what our mentor Les Brown has to say to us. Just for a little bit. All right, let me tell you, Les Brown, now I know this book has been around. It's been around since the 1930s. And, Les Brown's been doing his thing probably, let me see. Oh, man. Late 1900s as well. Early 2000s, right? Les Brown been telling us a lot of this stuff, too. It's not over till you win. Let's see what he's talking about. Let's see what he's talking about.
I started out, as was indicated by John. It's very humble beginnings. I don't know what that dream is that you have. Mm-hmm. I don't care how far-fetched it might appear to be. I don't care how disappointing it might have been as you've been working toward that dream. But here's what I know. That dream that you're holding in your mind, that it's possible.
Les Brown's telling us he don't care what it is. What dream you're holding in your mind is possible. Like if it's humanly possible, and if one other person has done it, you can do it. And I'm learning that through this book, y'all. Because it's so easy for people to become discouraged, isn't it? But I'm on here today to encourage it in the afternoon. Okay. He said he don't care what it is. It's possible. Now, I don't know if you know Les Brown's story, right? He was adopted, one of the twins. I used to teach a class, motivational class. This is 20 years ago, y'all. Motivational class to women going from welfare to work. And we used to watch Les Brown videos all the time. And so I know a little bit about his story because I used to watch a lot of his videos with the class and stuff. But he's a twin, and he was labeled educably, mentally And there's the R word that we don't usually use anymore. But this was, retarded. That's what that he was labeled, that he could not learn. Les Brown, one of the most, popular motivational speakers today. And for a while, he believed it. Did y'all know that? He believed the lie that people said about him, his teachers and all that. You educably, mentally, you don't got it. You can't learn. He went to a new teacher one day, and the man asked him to solve the math problem or something like that, and he was like, I can't do that. And he repeated the lie, what they told him. Les Brown, he was a child in class. He said, oh no, I can't. I'm educably, mentally. And the teacher said, what? He said, don't you ever say that about yourself. He said, don't you ever say that. Basically told him, don't take on the lies that somebody told you about you. Like what Edwin C. Barnes, he said, I don't care if I'm the only one who thinks that I'm going to be Thomas Edison's partner. Y'all can look at me any kind of way you want to, but I'm going to do it. And guess what? He did it. He did it. He did it. So Les Brown said, it's not over till you win. You want to get that message? Look that up. It's not over until you win. And this is the one theme that I'm learning from this book, y'all, Thinking and Growing Rich. Now, it ain't over till you win. Okay. All right. So he burned all his bridges behind him, and he stood by his desire until it became the dominating obsession of his life and finally a fact. Right? So he said, I'm not going to keep my eyes open for another opportunity, right? All that good stuff, right? So we read that part, right? So he left himself no possible way of retreat. He had to win or he had to perish. That is all there is to Barnes's story of success. This is what Napoleon Hill is telling us. That was his secret to success. He left himself no possible way of retreat. So there was only one way to go, and that was forward. That was where he desired to go. And he did not get discouraged, or maybe he could have been a little, who knows how he felt, but he didn't let the action of discouragement stop him on his path, right? Because sometimes thoughts will come. But if you don't let the action of discouragement cause you to stop yourself on the path, because nobody else has the power to stop you, then you can achieve the goal. Napoleon Hill is telling us that is all there is to the Barnes story of success, to become the successful partner of the most popular inventor of the time, Thomas Edison. Okay. A long while ago, so we're in chapter 2. Again, you can see I'm very, very long-winded. So we're probably not going to get through the whole chapter today. This is why I break them up. But we're gonna get through it, and where we feel a natural place to pause, that's what we'll do. All right. So I appreciate everybody on here. If you're liking the live, like it up, share it out, and we're gonna hear for about an hour. We're gonna go into another story that he has, and we'll see what this person is talking about. It says, a long while ago, a great warrior faced a situation which made it necessary for him to make a decision which ensured his success on the battlefield. All right. So we're talking about a warrior. He was about to send his armies against a powerful foe whose men outnumbered his own, right? How many of us feel outnumbered, right, in the world sometimes, or what we're up against? Some people think about the government like that, or whatever your situations, like this thing is all powerful. That's only perception a lot of the time. You ever see The Wizard of Oz? That's one of my favorite movies. You ever look behind the curtain and see the great and powerful Oz? Just trembling just like you, or whatever. Just, trying to figure out just like you. What you think these politicians know everything? Or whatever. Or the people that you admire and look up to, you think they were always, again, in that position? You don't have to be intimidated by that. By the people who, I don't know, they got the course, they making all the money. You think that person was always there? No, they work on it. They work on it. All right. So he was about to send his army against a powerful foe whose men outnumbered his own. This sounds like a biblical story too. The one where the creator had to open the soldier's eyes and show him who was all around him, that he wasn't by himself. Come on, somebody. Hope that don't irritate you, but I gotta do that sometimes. He loaded his soldiers into boats, sailed to the enemy's country. So he going in enemy territory. Unloaded soldiers and equipment, and then gave the order to burn the ships that had carried them. Y'all, hold on now. Sorry, I be feeling things. I gotta pause sometimes. So he went into enemy territory, said they outnumber us. We got to defeat them. But you know what? We gonna give y'all some real motivation right here, because we burning these boats. Ha! Come on, Miss Joyce. We burning these boats. I ain't telling nobody to, I gotta use the right terms on these things, but you know what I'm saying. They getting rid of the things that are holding them and tying them to a place where they don't want to be. They're going in this direction. So they're like, look, I'm not even going to make it a possibility for you to even think you got a choice to go back there. Sometimes you got to get rid of that boat. Okay? It's a theme in this book, Think and Grow Rich. Because that's what a lot of these people did. They had this vision. And it was consistent. And when they didn't see it happen for 3 months, 6 months, a year, they kept going. Like, how can a person not succeed doing that? We don't want to know how you cannot succeed. We want to know how you can succeed. Okay. All right. So he gave the order to get rid of the ships that had carried them, addressing his men before the battle. And this is what he said. You see the boats going up in smoke? That means that we cannot leave these shores alive unless we win. What? That was dramatic, wasn't it? He said, you see these boats going up in smoke. Whatever life habit that you need to let go of, because you want to be here. It could be a toxic relationship. I'm just saying that's difficult, y'all. That's hard sometimes. Especially when you feel like you really, love somebody, whatever, and you want them to change you, but they ain't changing to you. You got to say, see this boat? See that smoke? You cannot leave this shore alive unless you win. If you gave yourself that choice and that opportunity in life, how many things would you succeed at? Would you succeed at the business? If you gave yourself no choice? No other, just to say, well, let me try. I got to go back because this is not working. It ain't working a month. No, you're going to start to think of ways of how you can make it work. That's what's going to happen. That's what's going to happen. And you're going to start becoming a real co-creator with the universe and making what they call the impossible possible. That's what's going to start to happen when you get rid of the boats behind you. So he said, that means we cannot leave these shores alive unless we win. We now have no choice. We win or we perish. And guess what? They won. Day one. Day one. Day one. Day one. What boat do you have to get rid of in your life where you're like, I'm just not doing it. I'm not going back. I don't smoke 2 packs of cigarettes a day. I'm just saying, I'm not doing it. I don't care what my body feel like right now. It's not good for me. I'm not doing it. I got to take some time in a day, 30 minutes, an hour to go through this course that I bought with my own money. This is what I'm going to do. If I got to stop looking at the news or whatever, taking this chunk of my day, doing something that's not towards my goals, then I got to get rid of that. All right. Every person who wins in any undertaking must be willing to burn her ships, and cut all sources of retreat. Wow. Napoleon Hill is breaking it down. I hope we're catching this. I hope we're catching this. Like the live if you like it. What we're going over right now. All right. He said every person who wins in any undertaking, in anything, you must be willing to get rid of what's holding you at a certain level and cut all sources of going back to a place or condition that is not good for you. This is how you succeed. Only by doing so can one be sure of maintaining the state of mind known as a burning desire to win, which is essential to your success. So he's saying this is the way that you create the burning desire. So what he's saying is, if you're giving yourself a fork in the road, well, you might have a fork in the road to make a choice. But if you're giving yourself like 80% in, some of y'all 50%, but you 50% out, I'm not sure. 80% in, maybe if it's not working, I don't know. I got that 20%, I can, it doesn't create a burning desire. So something must kick in when a person is 100% invested. Something kicks in. More than likely, it's your survival mechanism. It's a gear. There's a story. I'm a little hazy. I know a lot of little stories. I be thinking, oh, it's a saying. It's a story. I love sayings and stories. There's a story that I heard of a woman. Hold on, let me see. Tell me if you heard this story or anything like this. There's several stories like this. Okay. There was a woman who lifted up a car to save someone's life. You could just type that in and it's just something kicks in when you cannot turn back. I'll just read this. In 2012, a woman named Lawrence S. Kornacki, 22-year-old woman in Glen Allen, Virginia, lifted a BMW. They got the whole number of the car, 5255, off of her father when the car toppled from a jack. That's it. This was a real story. I think I'm reading from the BBC. Well, this is Wikipedia. Well, this is actually the BBC. How it's possible for an ordinary person to lift a car. I'm just showing you. Now, it's not like we have a goal to lift the car right now, but your goal may be as big as that to you, right? It could be comparable to lifting a car. You understand? Right? In your own mind. Like, how am I going to do that? Like, normally you're not just walking up the street lifting up a car. But if you feel like there's this great need to do something, and if you don't do it, the circumstances are not something that a person wants to face, you're going to do it. That's the point. You're going to do it. Okay? So this is a common urban legend, right? A mother lifts up a car to save the child. Right. Okay? But they said this happened when a young lady, this is the BBC, this is a news article. The car fell on her father. She lifted up the car of her father. How did she find the strength to do that? They said somebody else went toe to toe with a polar bear to protect a family member. Like, really? That was a woman. These are examples to show. And this is an extreme example, right? But it's to show when a person has no other choice in a situation, no other good choice, there's always a choice in life, but no other viable choice but to do this or whatever, right? Whatever the situation is, the universe themselves will find a way to give them the strength, the resources, the skill, the courage to make it happen. Whatever your goal is, that's the point. Do you understand? So when the warrior said, we're getting rid of the boats, you cannot go back to that lifestyle, to that person. And if that person wants to, I don't know, come back around in your life, if they're really meant for you, they're going to have to be a changed person because they will not see you like that, the way they are. That way we're not going. So they meet you around this way because you're going this way, then that's where we're going. Okay? And when people do things like that, we find the strength within us to make things happen. You got to realize too, with whatever goals you have, you're not by yourself. So in other words, one with God is the majority. One with God is the majority. Hey, Prezi, what's going on? One with God is the majority. You are not by yourself with your goals, even if other human beings don't see it for you. Because when you hold a vision long enough, the superhuman strength to lift the proverbial car or win the war happens and it comes to you. But a lot of times you won't see that strength kick in if one does not put oneself in a position to get rid of the boats. That's what Napoleon Hill is teaching us right now. That's how we create a burning desire to win. Do you have the burning desire to win in your life? To achieve the goal? Because that is essential to your success of any endeavor. Okay? The morning after the Great Chicago Fire, a group of merchants stood on State Street, looking at the smoking remains of what had been their stores. They went into a conference to decide if they would try to rebuild or leave Chicago and start over in a more promising section of the country. They reached a decision, all except one, to leave Chicago. The merchant who decided to stay and rebuild pointed a finger at the remains of his store and said, "Gentlemen, on that very spot, I will build the world's greatest store, no matter how many times it may burn down." And we're going to cover that with safety, because words are very powerful. So he said, however many times this thing goes down, I'm going to build the world's greatest store. He said, no matter what, I'm not afraid and I'm not leaving. That's what he said now. I mean, if the people felt like their, future was somewhere else, sometimes you got to do that too. But that wasn't his vision. He said, no, I see it right here. And I don't care what happens and how many times I'm forwarded from the situation, I'm going to build the world's greatest store. That was more than 50 years ago. The store was built. It stands there today, a towering monument to the power of that state of mind known as a burning desire. The easiest thing for Marshall Field to have done, that's what we're talking about, would have been exactly what his fellow merchants did. And it would have been a choice. When the going was hard and the future looked dismal, they pulled up and went where the going seemed easier. Mark well this difference, right? Take note of this. Between Marshall Field and the other merchants, because it is the same difference which distinguishes Edwin C. Barnes from the thousands of other young men who have worked in the Edison organization. It is the same difference which distinguishes practically all who succeed from those who fail. So mark the difference between Marshall Field as he stood at the ashes. He's about to rise up like the phoenix. Come on, Phoenix. Let's give a clap for the phoenix. Anybody know about the phoenix rising up from the ashes? That's what he said. The difference between him and seeing that stubble, he said, no, they're not going to run me away from a whole state, a whole city. And I don't know what happened in the Great Fire. That would be something you could look up. But, right? So, if you can note the difference between him and the other merchants, that was the same difference between Edwin C. Barnes and thousands of other, young men who worked with Thomas Edison, who did not become his partner. Okay? Every human being who reaches the age of understanding to the purpose of money wishes for it, right? So all of us who come down here and play this game, as human beings, and it's like it's a video game. It's God's video game. And we play this game just like any other video game. You get, trinkets and, whatever. We realize, you can get money and you can buy stuff and you can do, okay. We desire it. That's what he's saying. So anybody who realize, when you become of a certain age and you realize that, okay, I could do that. I can get money and then I can get stuff. I want some money. Okay, that's what human beings do. But he said, wishing for it will not bring riches. Wishing don't bring riches. That's what he said. Wishing will not bring riches. So we got to do a little bit more than the affirmations. Wait a minute now. We just got to dig in a little bit more as a part of it, because it helps to keep the mind in a certain way. But this is why we're reading this book, y'all. This is why Bob Proctor read this book over and over every day since he was 26 years of age until he was 80-something years of age when he passed. So for 60-something years, Bob Proctor read this book, Think and Grow Rich. Okay. This is why. because of the things that it's teaching us. He says, the wishing for it will not bring riches. So what's going to bring riches then? But desiring riches with a state of mind that becomes an obsession, then planning definite ways and means to acquire riches and backing those plans with persistence, which does not recognize failure, will bring riches. So you desire it with a state of mind that becomes an obsession, or over and over again. We're not telling nobody to be, crazy with nothing, please. But when he's saying obsession, you're keeping it in your mind. You are. Like, it is what it is. It's a goal. You have it. And that's it. And guess what? God said you could be rich. So there's nothing wrong with being consumed, not spiritually consumed in a way that is negative, right? But having that as a persistent goal, there's nothing wrong with having riches and having a comfortable life, desiring a comfortable life to be your goal. Okay? Deuteronomy 8:18 says, you have permission to be wealthy. From who? From God. Whether you're religious, metaphysical, whatever, right? Your higher self, the presence and source that brought us here, that has left some information in the Bible, right? We know the Bible has been tampered with and this and that, because it has, but it has a lot of truth in there as well. Deuteronomy 8:18 says, remember the Lord, your power. Remember the Lord, your God, for it is he that gives you the power to get wealth. This is a godly thing. And again, God is not just masculine. We have a feminine aspect of God as well. Thanks for the likes. Like up the stream, share it out. If you feel like Think and Grow Rich is something that, if you get some kind of benefit from this, you think somebody else could benefit from this in the afternoon, let's go. God has already given you permission. So when rich to be rich. So when Napoleon Hill is saying, look, have an obsession to some degree, a continuous goal in your mind to achieve riches. That's not a bad thing. God already told you had the power of love. It is not just for the celebrities. Hello. It's not. It's not just for, some people, they pick and choose. It's for you too. Riches and wealth, it's for you too. Riches and wealth, it's for you too. Riches and wealth, it's for me too. They're for me too. They're for us. How about that? They're for anybody, particularly people who have positive intentions in the world. My gosh, we need more of you to become wealthy. So we can just have a better world with people that, not saying that you can't do anything and make positive changes without a lot of money, right? But we know that, to some degree, there's a power backing that, because, money, that's our tool and our trinkets where we can do a lot more things in this physical universe, right? And so it's that obsessive, continuous desire, let's say. I don't love the word obsession, but I understand what he's saying. But it's that continuous desire. And then it's the planning of the definite ways to acquire it. And then it's backing those plans with persistence that does not recognize failure. So you do these three things. Now he's about to break down a list. He's about to break down a list now. Okay. He's about to break down a list of what we need to do to acquire these riches. Okay. So this will bring riches. The method by which desire for riches can be transmuted into its financial equivalent. Very important. This is on page 40 in the book I'm reading from. You can see it posted up there. Napoleon Hill. Well, I got it from Amazon. Think and Grow Rich. You can just look this up, online. You can listen to a free audio. It's in the public domain right now. And so, many people make content on this, have books that they kind of change up a little bit. I have another version Let me see. I don't know if you can see that. There we go. And this is a compilation. It's the original version is restored and revised, right? So sometimes they revise, annotate, index, right? So, but you can get this book online where you can listen to it for free. You get a free PDF download. You can listen to the audio. Get my pen. You can listen to, right? So it's available for us to learn from. But this book is not to be taken for granted, like I've done, so much in my life, and some other people have. It's like, oh, this old book. There are some principles in here that, if and when we apply them, we can succeed in, getting those riches and all that good stuff, and whatever other goals that we desire, because we know that energy is transferable. So we talk about money right now, but there are different goals that we have. Okay. So the method by which desire for riches can be transmuted into its financial equivalent consists of 6 definite practical steps. Okay. 6 practical definite steps. So listen up. If you want to take note, take note. I'm on page 40 of this particular book. This is the one, let's see. Author of The Law of Success Philosophy. Yeah, you can see the site right there, but I got it from a different site. So, all right. Anyhow, first, this is what you need to do. Fix it in your mind the exact amount of money you desire. It is not sufficient merely to say, I want plenty of money, right? So this is where we kind of dig in a little bit. Be definite as to the amount. There is a psychological reason for definiteness, which will be described in a subsequent chapter. Okay. Method by which desire for riches can be transmuted into its financial equivalent consists of 6 definite practical steps. All right, I'm going to make note of just the page. This is on page 40. 6 practical steps to acquire riches, right? Okay, so the first one is the exact amount of money. All right. How much money do you desire to have? So I had, for a beginning goal, I desire to earn $5,000 per month working from home or working in my own business. That's a beginning desire, right? What is your desire for a financial goal, right? Now, we talk about finances. It could be anything. Do you want to lose weight? Do you want to gain weight? How many pounds? I would like to gain. I would like to gain 15 pounds. Let's just say I would like to gain 20 pounds, but I would like to gain 15 pounds. And I've gotten rid of the bridge because I don't eat the foods that just put weight on the body like that anymore. Because I eat for like spiritual reasons, manifestation reasons. I want to continue to keep my connection with the universe, right? I want to continue to jump on these lives, with you and things like that. And sometimes, depending on what we put in our body, foods can have us in our head. There are some of you out there, I don't know, maybe you want to do lives, or I'm just talking to who I'm talking to, right? If you're already doing this, I'm not talking to you on this. But there are some of you who want to do certain things, like, you might want to jump on a lie. You're intelligent. You're just like, but I don't know why. I just fear, certain things and just can't get beyond myself. Sometimes it's what you're putting in your body. Sometimes it literally is what you are eating that has you all up in your head. It's part of it. Now, you don't have to be as radical as me and stop all these, like, stop eating starch altogether, that type of thing. Because that's what I did. Went back and forth, but I'm on that journey. That's the journey I'm on. But you can input more high vibrational foods in your body. Like one little trick I do, I'll give this to you. Before I do my lives, I make sure I have a little bit of green pepper. I do organic green pepper. And that something about that chlorophyll, and green pepper is a fruit, and it just helps me to focus and to just not be all up in my head. So that's part of it. I'll get it to you. Try that. With some things that you want to achieve fresh, right? Not cooked, and green pepper. When we cook it, that's with flavor and seasoning. But a piece of fresh green pepper, or throw it in a smoothie or something like that, or just a little piece. For me, it gives me that little boost, and I'm like, all right, I got my chlorophyll. You know what I'm saying? But what's your goal, right? So my financial goal is to earn $5,000 per month. Yeah. From home, or working in my business, right? It's also for me to gain, I'll just say, I'm trying to make it moderate and not too. That's why I'm going back and forth with the weight. But this is what we do. This is why I'm calling this a workshop, is because I want to kind of workshop this, and I want you to also think about this as well. If you could take out a piece of paper, what are your goals? Hey, Meredith, what are your goals? Like specifically, what's the amount of money you desire to earn? How often? Because this is going to help you put the plan together. Do you want to gain weight? You want to lose weight? What kind of person? It could be a mate. Do you want to have a mate? Or do you have a mate? Do you want to have a better relationship? What certain things do you want specifically? You want to have better communication. What do you want your mate to do? You want your mate to give you flowers every month? I don't know, every week. Like, whatever, right? What is it? Because when we get specific like this, that's when we start seeing more specific results. We have to not be so general, okay? So I'm going to start my weight goal as gaining 10 pounds. If I could do that, 10 pounds, working out, still eating the way I eat, I would be very happy. I would be amazed. But we'll see. All right. So whatever your goal is, right? Your goal could be the opposite. Okay. So it's not just sufficient to say, I want plenty of money. It's not just sufficient to say, I want to lose weight. It's not just sufficient to say, I want to be in a relationship. I did that one time, y'all. I prayed now. This was years ago. I wanted to have a husband. And I remember talking to somebody on the phone. I was really in a place, I was really sad about some things in my life. My mom had just passed. I just sold the house. It was just a lot going on. And the house I grew up in, I was going through it. And what I feel like I should have been doing was getting myself together. But as a lot of people do, I'm just saying, sometimes in those times when we need to just be getting ourselves together, we want to be with somebody else. It's just, it happens, right? So that's what I wanted to do. And I was on the phone. I was about to visit this older woman in a different state. And she was like, yeah, you can come down here and just, take a break. And I was like, yeah. I talked to her on the phone. I'm like, yeah. And you know what? I want a husband. I want to be ready. There's nothing wrong with that as a goal. Of course, obviously. I mean, that's a blessed, wonderful thing. And if you have husbands, wives out there, bless you. All that good stuff, right? I'm in between. I'm not with the person I'm telling the story anymore. But I said that on the phone. And I said, I'm going to pray for a husband. And this was when I was in the midst of like depression, y'all. So you got to remember too, wherever we are in our life, that is going to be what we're attracting. Okay. I'm just saying, even when we pray, like it is what it is. So I got off the phone, and yeah, she said, pray for me too. And I said, okay, I will. So I don't know if she ended up getting a husband. But I remember going in my room at the time. This was years ago. And this was probably almost 20 years ago, really. Early 2000s. And was it early 2000s? Yeah, early 2000s. And so anyway, I prayed, I said, God, and I had already prayed this real specific prayer a long time ago, and I thought that it didn't happen and all this. So this time I said, I'm not going to get that specific. I'm just going to just ask God to send me my husband. So that's what I did. God send me, and imagine just being in the midst of being depressed and, whatever. And instead of saying whatever, what I wanted for my highest and greatest good, or, whatever God wanted for me, I wanted something specific, really kind of to distract myself from the work I had to do. I'm just saying, it is what it is. I'm not trying to judge the goals, but this was my goal at the time. And I said, I wasn't specific. How people had a list. Oh, this person got to be like this. I just figured if I just asked for my husband, then God would just fill in all the blanks and it would just be perfect. But we're co-creators, my darlings. We are co-creators with the universe. Even when we pray. Unless you specify, like, for my highest and greatest good, and, what your highest will is for me, joy and all that good stuff. Like, you got to say some specific things. This is what I'm finding out. Anyway, so I was making my prayer, and I said, God, please, send me my husband. And that's basically what I said. Like, I probably prayed some other things, but that's what I said. And I think I prayed for the lady too. And 2 days later, because I told you I was going to visit somebody in another state. So there were 3 congregations that I was like a part of, kind of going around. I'm going into my little story. I'm going somewhere with this, y'all, because we're talking about the exact specifics, the exact amount of money. That's what I wrote on my book. The exact amount of money, the exact desires that we have. And I'm saying I had a prayer of something, and I wasn't specific, right? And I got what I got. I'm grateful. We got a beautiful family and all that good stuff. But, I wasn't specific. And 2 days later, somebody from one of the congregations, because I just happened to be figuring out like which one I want to visit. I'm like, who I want to visit in what order before I leave. I had like 3 more weeks. So, and it was 3 congregations. And one person from the congregation called me 2 days after I prayed for a husband. Or for God to send me my husband. That's specifically what I said, more specifically. And said, oh, Batia, like, we're having this gathering, why don't you come through, and and such and such is going to be there. And I was like, oh, and I kind of knew of him, but long story short, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, because I was trying to figure out which one I was going to go to. I guess I'll go to you guys since y'all. And by the end of that week, after I prayed, I kind of reunited with somebody that I kind of knew of. We exchanged numbers and eventually got into a relationship, and he was that person. But the thing was, it was a very, very difficult relationship. Very difficult. And I'm grateful for all the things that happened. Within it is what it is. That's when I started fasting. That's when I started doing all this stuff, And, but I was not specific. I didn't ask to be happy. I'm just saying, I didn't ask for a certain type of person. And when he came to me, and when I noticed what they call the red flags or whatever, that I was probably giving off as well, or that I resonated with, because I'm not just blaming him. We resonate with frequencies. That's how we attract people in our life, and that's how we keep them. So we can never blame one person for a, quote, bad relationship or whatever. What part of us is attracting that, and what part of us is keeping it and retaining it? Okay, so it's not just him, and But I didn't pray for happiness, and I wasn't very happy at the time. I told you in the beginning I was already sad. So I was looking for somebody else to You know what I mean? And I wasn't specific. So from that, I learned, it kind of scared me off for asking for certain things for a while too, really. Because I was like, I prayed for this, and this is the toughest relationship I ever been in. That's what I needed at the time. And so, but it's not, certain things in our life are lessons, and it's not to scare us off for communicating with God, the universe, or whatever. It's just for us to, one, to come to these things in a more healed way as much as we can. And some situations we just have to go through to realize that we need to heal, or to help heal us in sometimes challenging ways, right? But also, we need to be specific at times. That was the point of the story. I just said, send me my husband. Okay. God said, okay, there you go. Oh, you ain't tell you want to be happy. Oh, you didn't say that. You didn't say that. Yeah. Okay. That's a whole other story, isn't it? Exact amount of money or exact goal, what you desire. Okay. All right. So that's the first thing. So there's a psychological reason, Napoleon Hill says, for the definiteness which will be described in the subsequent chapter. Second thing you must do when you desire to get your riches, right? So that your desire for riches can be transmuted into reality, right? You must determine exactly what you intend to give in return for the money that you desire. There is no such reality as something for nothing. Hey, King, that's what I'm talking about. What's going on, y'all? And everybody who's watching, appreciate you. And everybody in the hallway, we appreciate you. Like up the stream if you're liking it. Share it out if you feel like somebody else, it'll be useful for somebody else. We're studying Think and Grow Rich right now. We're learning the 6 steps that we need to cause our desires to turn into reality. First one, we need to be specific. Second one, we need to determine exactly what we intend to give in return for what we desire. Because there's no such thing in reality as something for nothing. Part of what I desire, I love to get into, maybe TikTok shop or something. Well, part of doing that is jumping on and getting on these lives. And you also have to get into the point to where you can get on the lives, which you post your videos and you do. And there's other ways you can do that too. You can go to like grow rooms if you want to do that. I'm just saying they help. They can help to get a person to like 1,000 followers if they want to do that. And then you can start going live. But like it's the afternoon right now, right? I could be doing something else, anything, But this is part of the price, which I love to do, in reading this book, studying, and sharing with people. I love it. That's what I do. Motivating and teaching and all that, sharing with people. And so there's no such thing in reality. All right now. Prayers for whatever's they're going through. No such thing in reality as something for nothing. We have to have some kind of exchange. So the second thing is, what are you going to do to get what you desire? So how am I going to earn that $5,000 per month, right? So this is what I need to be thinking about. So the second portion of the 6 steps into turning our financial desires or whatever other desires we have into reality is exactly what we intend to give. So what do you intend to give? What do you intend to give in return for the money you desire? Okay. All right. July the 9th, 2024. All right. You got that? Number 3. Establish a definite date when you intend to possess the money you desire. Now, that part, it's like your mind might be like, what? Like, what if they asked Edwin C. Barnes, what is his desired date to become what's his name? The inventor's, Thomas Edison's partner, right? So it took him 5 years to do it. But apparently having a date helps to achieve these goals, y'all. So you got to put a date on your goals, basically. You got to put a date on your goals. Okay? So the exact amount of money. So I would like to earn $5,000 per month in my business, right? Or from home. I'm thinking this could be a combination of my business because, like I said, I have a t-shirt business. And so what date? So what do I intend to give in return for what I desire? Well, my time. I'll just put that. That's number 2. My time, my study. Studying a course to learn. I have a t-shirt course, so I got to study my t-shirt course, right? So this is what you do. You start to plan out like what do you intend to give in return for your desire. You're gonna post videos. Do you have a desire to be a content creator? Do you what is it? You have a body weight goal. What do you plan to give or give up to achieve that, right? So number 3, a date. All right, so when do I want to achieve? It's already July, right? When do I want to achieve this $5,000 per month? I want to achieve it like yesterday. Hella, next month. I'm going to say December. I'm going to say December 1st, 2024. I'm going to achieve my $5,000 per month goal. I'm just because look, goals, it can be modified, but you got to get something down. That's the point of this, right? It's a workshop, all right. when we started in this book last month or so, and the replays are on YouTube at Wealth with Tia. Okay, if you want to just check out the replays. But when we started this, it tells us this is not Think and Grow Rich is not a book that you just read just to read. So you just read a book. This is a book that is a course. Okay, it's a course. Your course. It's a free course too now, because this book is public domain. I'm just doing these lives because the universe told me to study the book and do it on the live. This is the book that Bob Proctor studied for years and years and years and years every single day. That's what he said. And he just kept putting it in practice and kept putting it in practice. And his money kept growing and growing and growing. So that's why we're doing this. And we appreciate you for looking at the video right now. Okay. So what date do you want to achieve your goal? And do you intend to possess the money that you desire? I say December 1st, 2024. Boom. Easy. Okay. It gives us a few more months. 5 more months. We can say, something like that. Okay. 4th one, number 4. 4 out of 6. Let's go. Create a definite plan. So this is the plan. Create a definite plan for carrying out your desire and begin at once. Whether you are ready or not, here we come. You can't hide. What? Gonna find you and make you want me. Oh, I sing too. Yeah, little salsa. All right. You can check me out on my site at Batia. You know what? BATIYAH. I have an album as well. Did that album a long time ago. It was underground album based on the Bible. I love the Bible. It is what it is. It's my foundation, though I am metaphysical. But I love the music too. All right. So whether you ready or not, here you come. You can't hide. What? We're gonna find you and take it slowly. Hey, don't get me started vibing. I'm gonna start vibing on here. All right, y'all. So, whether you feel like you're ready or not to put the plan into action, start where you are. Okay? When I got the gumption, the idea to study this book after I prayed to get in line with the frequency of money, invited money, more money, and all that good stuff in my life, that's when I saw Bob Proctor's video of how to get in line with the frequency of money. And I had just literally prayed that. So I was like, whoa, it was quick. When you determine and you ask the universe for something, you will start to see signs like quick. I'm just saying, come on. You will. And I saw that video. And see, God didn't just come down and show me, a person or himself, herself, and say, here, my child, here's $1 million. Like, it just don't work like that. Like, it's something you have to do because we are co-creators. This is why we have the experience of being human beings, to remember who we are. God in a body. That's a whole nother video. God is having an experience as you and me and all of us at the same time, because there's nothing that is not part of God's body in the universe. So God is remembering who it is and what power it has as you. And how we set these things into motion is to remember who we are, to state intentions, and to co-create. And we have to do something. That spiritual world just doesn't appear to you like that. It will give you a clue and something to do. To say, do this, my child. I'm going to be with you. But I help those who do what? You know the answer to that. Help themselves. Right, Dory? God helps those who help themselves. So when I had the idea, or I saw the video, I had just prayed. So I'm like, okay, so God showed me like 3 different things. I went over this in some of the other videos we have at Wealth with Tia on YouTube. I found a woman online, and she started asking these questions of, show me, universe, show me how great my life can be. That's an affirmation. You can just take that. Show me, universe, how great life can get for me. Show me how easy my life can get, universe. Show me how happy I can be, universe. Start asking that. All right. We have to start asking better questions, right? Show me how to earn $5,000 per month from home, right? This is a beginning. Show me how to, right, whatever. And so then I saw the Bob Proctor video, and then I was like, I need to study that book. I need to study Think and Grow Rich. I remember reading that book, a part of it, and then not reading it for 10 years. I don't even know where it is. I had to buy more copies. That's what came to me after I prayed. God didn't reach her hand out of the sky and say, here you are, my child. Here's the money. No, it didn't work like that. It's something that you have to do. So when I saw that Bob Proctor studied Think and Grow Rich, and he thought and applied and grew rich, I said, well, I would be a fool not to study the book like he did. That's why we're on this live right now. And this is part of what I have to do, or was told to do, because I felt it very strong. It was like I was already posting videos and stuff like that, and it's just do it live. I said, oh, yeah, because other people might want to, go over the book too. It's a very popular book. I mean, it is what it is. And how many of us take it that seriously and know, just hear it. So this is why we're here, right? So that's part of the plan. To go live and do these YouTube lives. And you know what? As I started to do these lives, and this is just the 5th one on this particular book, Think and Grow Rich, I already started thinking of another idea of a book I can create. I thought of it like a few weeks ago. I've acted on it a little bit, But this is how it happens. I have a video on my channel. It says something like, you know, you don't need to know all the steps. You just need to know the first step. You just need to know the first step. Edwin C. Barnes knew in his mind that he was going to be the partner of Thomas Edison. Now, he didn't know all the steps. He didn't know exactly how long it was going to take. He wanted it to happen yesterday, I'm sure. I don't think he had on his list, 5 years from now, I want this to happen. It took 5 years, but it was a big goal. So sometimes big goals might take a little longer. Okay. Like a baby takes 10 months to be born. They tell you 9. At least 9.5, 10 months. Your baby is going to take some time to be born. Okay? Your idea is a baby right now. But as you hold the vision and do the steps, I think I went live like a few days after that thought went into my head. And I think I skipped a month, like June, I think I had went live, and then all, you know, kind of life, you know what they say, life started life and whatever. But everything's cool. And I got back on my schedule changed and, you know, different things. But you know what? I'm like, I was back last week and then now I'm here this week, you know, and it doesn't have to be perfect. But if you're consistent with whatever your goal is, keep it up and keep the promises to yourself. My God, today. I mean, in order to keep the promises to yourself, you got to make them. But make them and keep them. All right. So number 3 is the date. Number 4 is the plan. What is your plan to carry out your desire? Right? Okay. I'm just jotting some things. TikTok lives, right? Well, Think and Grow Rich, right? Create book, right? Based on the idea that I had, right? I'm just jotting this down just for you to think about as well. Okay. What are your 6, you know, steps that you're going to do to carry out your goal? Okay. TikTok lives, Think and Grow Rich, that's part of it. To create the book. It was something else I was thinking of. But, you know, so start thinking about your plan. Study my my t-shirt course. Okay. Again, or finish it, because I haven't finished that course yet. I have a t-shirt business. It's called Body in God, BODYINGOD. You know, I have a website, everything, all that good stuff. Got t-shirts and stuff. I do wear them on the lives sometimes. Let me see if I can grab one. I didn't wear them on this particular live. I got one. This is let me see. This yeah, this is the one. It's a little I ain't ironed it up. This is one of my designs. This is the one of the universe in me. It's a pocket tee. I can't really see it right there. It's a pocket tee. I got a you can see it on the tube. Let me see if I can pull it back a little bit. Hold on. You know, we had these effects on it. I got the green screen on here, y'all. And it's kind of hard to see with that. It's kind of hard to see. Wait a minute. Okay. So there's our logo. I got a woven tag. It's one of my shirts, right? So this is part of my plan. Body in God. That's a logo. This is the one you can see in the videos. This is the one and this is a pocket. It's actually a pocket. This is the Universe in Me shirt. This one I had to redesign a little bit and tweak, and I got to get that on the site. I'm not sure if it's on the site yet, right? So this is part of my plan to earn this $5,000 a month, right? So study my t-shirt course, right? So I got 3 things on there, right? So what are the things that you're willing to do in your goals, you know, or to achieve your goals? Okay, number 5, write out a clear, concise statement of the amount of money you intend to acquire. Name the time limit for its acquisition. State what you intend to give in return for the money, and describe clearly the plan through which you intend to accumulate it. Hello. So 5th, you got to sum up 1 through 4, basically. All right. Wow. We got work to do. Okay. Get this book and work through this book, y'all. If y'all don't have it, if you got it on your shelf, pull it back out. Dust it off. Think and Grow Rich. That's why we're doing this. The 5th step is do all steps 1 through 4 in like a paragraph form, right? This is like your little, like your little bio or something. It's like your business plan, your little mini paragraph business plan. Okay. Number 6, read your statements aloud. Oh, wait a minute. Twice a day. Once just before you go to bed, and once after you rise in the morning, in the grand rising. Wow. As you read, see, and feel, and believe yourself already in possession of the money. Okay. So when you do steps 1 through 4, sum them all up in a paragraph form, or you could just read them all together. Like I could kind of like read all mine right now, but you just write it out in a paragraph form. Write out a clear, concise statement, right, of the amount of money I intend to acquire. Now, they didn't say if you should say I intend to have or I have, because some people, when they do what they call scripting, is they write it out as if they already have it, so you could do it that way, right? He didn't directly state here if you should state it as it's already, as if you already have it, or is if it's an intention. I would probably do it as if I already have it, because I've heard a lot of content, if you will, right, on creating goals as if you already attained them, right? So your goal, my first one would be, I'm so happy and grateful now. That's Bob Proctor's, right? I'm so happy and grateful now that I am earning $5,000 per month consistently and with joy in my own business from home. Okay. He said, just write everything again, I intend to, so what you intend to give in return for the money. I said time, study, course, t-shirt. Okay. So, hold on. So your concise statement of the amount of money you intend to acquire, the time limit, state when you intend to give, and describe clearly the plan through which you accumulated. So what you intend to give and the plan are 2 different things, right? So number 2 and number 4 are 2 different things. Okay. I intend to give my time. I intend to study. I intend to create the business. Now, what's the plan? What are you going to do? Right. So anyway, y'all got the point. Number 6, you read it twice per day. Okay. Y'all willing to do that? Y'all willing to do that? Like up the live, you willing to do that? Dory, Popsy, you still here? King, y'all willing to do that? To do all these steps to acquire your riches or whatever goals that you intend to achieve is doable. It is doable. Okay. Napoleon Hill is telling us Napoleon Hill is telling us these directions. All right. It is important that you follow the instructions described in these 6 steps. It is especially important that you observe and follow the instructions in the 6th paragraph. Okay. Reading it twice per day. Once before you go to bed and once when you get up. As you read, you see and feel and believe yourself already in possession of the money. Okay? That's number 6. He said it's very important to do all the steps, but especially that step. You may complain that it is impossible for you to see yourself in possession of money before you actually have it. Here is where a burning desire will come to your aid. If you truly desire money so keenly that your desire is an obsession, you will have no difficulty in convincing yourself that you will acquire it. The object is to want money and to become so determined to have it that you convince yourself you will have it. He said that's the point. Only those who become money conscious ever accumulate great riches. We won't say that again now. Only those who become money conscious will acquire it, ever accumulate riches. Okay. This is, again, why you cannot be afraid of money. You can't say you want it and then not want it at the same time. You can't say you want it and then think it's evil at the same time. It doesn't work like that. Because if down within your body, you think that you don't deserve to have riches, you think God don't want you to be wealthy, you think you're going to be evil and wicked and you're wrong, you can't get through the eye of a needle. I'm just saying. Then you will not create a burning desire for it because you're going to think you're doing something wrong. But if you know that Deuteronomy 8 and 18 and other places in the Bible have shown you and told you that God has given you the power to get wealth already, to just remember the Lord your God when you get it. And that also, so you are to be wealthy so that God can fulfill promises that were given to your forefathers and mothers. So you have a responsibility to become wealthy. Did you think about it like that? How about the people that you can help when you have more? How about that? So only those who become money conscious ever accumulate great riches. Money consciousness means that the mind has to become so thoroughly saturated with the desire for money that one can see oneself already in possession of it. We did this last week. I don't know if I'll pull it up right now, but type in guided meditations, okay? Guided meditation money, and start to do that. There's a great content creator named Sri Akarshana, SRI. If you just type in his name, AKAR, it'll come up. Sri Akarshana, and he has these great guided meditations for money and all this good stuff. But there are others, and you can begin to see in your mind's eye and become comfortable with the money just being all around you. Sometimes you just have to just do that so you can become comfortable with it. There are people who are not comfortable with these things because they didn't grow up with it. They didn't see other people with it. Then they learned they're not supposed to have it. They learned it at church. They learned it from their religion. They learned it because of their skin color, because of their gender. Oh, I'm not supposed to have this. The government don't want me. You know so many reasons of why you should not have a thing. Again, how about you endure like these other people did 6 months, a year, 5 years in the thing that you do desire. Since you took so long, so many years to endure in the things that you don't desire, in the lies that we've been told about ourselves, how about we purposely put something in our minds that we do desire and sit with that for some time? Okay. So he said it's very important to read these things. Read your steps twice a day. Okay. So that you can see yourself already in possession of it. To the uninitiated who has not been schooled in the working principles of the human mind, these instructions may appear impractical. It may be helpful to all those who fail to recognize the soundness of the 6 steps, to know that the information that they convey was received from Andrew Carnegie, who began as an ordinary laborer in the steel mills, but managed, despite his humble beginning, to make these principles yield him a fortune of considerably more than $100 million. And this was, as they say, back in the day. $100 million. Woo! I'll take that. Now, in the best circumstances and all that good stuff. So he said these, if you're not schooled in these principles and all that in the human mind, these instructions seem a little impractical. Maybe they're too simple. They seem too simple. They might not work. Or maybe you don't feel like, you just don't think it's going to work. I don't know. They said these were formed by a man who started very humble beginnings. And he made these principles yield him. I mean, he made it because he just did it over and over. $100 million. Now, what if you get just a portion of that for the effort that you put into writing that list for yourself? How valuable would that be for you, Bev? How valuable would that be for you? To put these principles into effect, to write down your specific goals, to say what you intend to give, to say a specific time, to write it all together and what your plan is and what you're going to do, to sum it up in a paragraph form or something like that, and to read it twice a day before you go to bed and when you wake up every day. It may be of further help to know that the 6 steps here recommended were carefully scrutinized by the late Thomas A. Edison. Wow. Who placed his stamp of approval upon them as being not only the steps essential for the accumulation of money, but necessary for the attainment of any definite goal. See, this is not just about money, any goal. Wow. Okay. The steps call for no hard labor. They call for no sacrifice. They do not require one to become ridiculous or credulous. To apply them calls for no great amount of education. But the successful application of these 6 steps does call for the sufficient imagination to enable one to see and to understand that accumulation of money cannot be left to chance, good fortune, or luck. We're not leaving this to chance. Oh, well, it may happen. Maybe I'm going to scratch a few. I mean, when you scratch a few tickets, it's people that, win money like that. But I'll tell you one thing, that's their part-time job because they definitely put an investment of money and time into scratching those tickets. I'm not telling you to do that, but I'm saying it's not, you might hear stories of one-off and, I just happened to, but a lot of those people that win those, even the lottery and all that good stuff, that's what they do. I'm just saying that's what they do now. That's what they do. It's not so much just random stuff, y'all. Because you got to give the universe time to kind of, I want to say, catch up to you, right? So like what you're doing to meet you where you are in the physical realm. So you got to do something long enough to start to see it come to fruition. Okay? So these steps don't call for all that. They don't call for a great amount of education to figure out what you want. They call for some willingness to know it's possible and write it down best as you can. You're the one that's going to be reading it. Mm-hmm. But the successful application of these 6 steps does call for sufficient imagination to enable one to see and to understand that accumulation of money cannot be left to chance, good fortune, and luck. One must realize that all who have accumulated great fortunes first did a certain amount of dreaming, hoping, wishing, desiring, and planning before they acquired money. I'm not gonna front. The planning part came after all the other part. There's a lot of dreamy stuff going on. Dreaming, hoping, wishing. This stuff is mental. Desiring, and then planning before they acquire the money, y'all. It starts here. You may as well know, this is what Napoleon Hill said. We might be concluding the live soon. I don't know if we'll get, like I said, through the whole chapter. Sometimes I split them up. Sometimes I look at my charge on my phone, though I could possibly charge it, but you know, we'll probably do. We've been on here for 2.5 hours, so I appreciate you. And I see a couple of y'all been here for a minute the whole time. Yes, y'all the troopers. I'm gonna follow y'all after this if I haven't already. I don't know. Y'all follow me too. Patia, Yisrael. I'm gonna try to do these lives on Tuesdays. That's what my schedule fits right now, Lord willing. So, and we could just, do our best to make this a regular thing and all that good stuff. And in the meantime, in between time, you get this book if you don't have it already, or just study it, listen to it, and just start doing these principles. Flip to chapter 2. This is chapter 2 in Think and Grow Rich, and start to write these 6 things and start writing your list and start doing it. Okay. I'm gonna ask you when you come to class next week, Lord willing, right? Next time. All right. So anyway, we're gonna we'll probably be finishing up soon. So we'll find a good time to do that. But all right. So he's saying that, look, so it's dreaming, hoping, wishing, desiring, and planning, right? Before they acquire this money, right? This is how these people did it, right? But it's I'm noticing a lot of mental stuff, going on here, right? So it says you may as well know right here, right, that you can never have riches in great quantities unless you can work yourself into a white heat, that's what you call it, of desire for money. Like, there's a theme. You gotta, and actually believe you will possess it. Now, I will say this. There are some people who say, do what you love and the money will follow, right? Have you ever heard that? Right? So it's not like me doing this, say this live right now, right? And studying Think and Grow Rich. Yes, I have desire to think and grow rich, but I also have a love for helping people and for, sharing knowledge and sharing what I know and, making videos and, whatever, right? So like, it's not all money motivated, but yes, if the, end goal or between goal or part of it, yes, is money, then that's a part of it, right? For your effort. But we're not just, I'm not personally trying to get an impression that it's just all just about money, but But saying like all about money and not having the purpose behind it, right? However, you need to be friends with the notion of having wealth and riches and knowing that that's okay. Because sometimes, and a lot of times, people are pushing these things away from themselves subconsciously because they don't even realize that they hold these notions within themselves that they don't deserve it or that they're doing something bad to get it, right? So there could be a balance between the two. Okay. Maybe your goal is not all about money, but it's part of it. You would love to be compensated for what you do, right? But you may love to help people too. Or you may want to genuinely, provide something of a service or whatever, right? You may be 100%, or whatever, money motivated, whatever it is. But whatever the desire is, like when Edwin C. Barnes, money came with, right, his achievement of his goal. But he wanted to be Thomas Edison's business partner. I think that's what I'm getting, right? He wasn't just saying, I just want to just be a millionaire. No, he wanted to be Thomas Edison's business partner. And through that is where his money came from. So he had a purpose that was beyond the money, but he welcomed it as well. It came with it, right? So part of this is just, yes, to have a purpose for wealth and for riches. So that is the purpose, but also, to know what your feelings are about money as well. And to, not just say you're perpetually do things for free just because you love to do them. You have to have a balance with that as well, right? Like I got a link and an opportunity and we can click and, help build your business. I have something that people can purchase. Right. So I'm doing this for free because I love to do it. But then there's also other things that people can avail themselves where I can earn something as well. It's a part of it. But this is not 100% money motivated, me just getting on here. Not necessarily, but it's part of it. Right. So it's a mixture of what I like to do, love to do, what's in line for me to do, as well as what could lead to increasing finances. Okay. But whatever it is, know what your psychological beliefs are about money and ask yourself if you have been pushing more money away from you. Because you have a lot more skills and abilities that you may think. You have a lot more ability to get the things that you acquire. But if the subconscious mind is running a program opposite to what you're saying a little bit that you want, you won't acquire it. If you say, I love to quit this job. I love to, work my own business. But you feel like women shouldn't work for themselves, you're not going to do it. That's just an example. You feel like people who are, I don't know, certain race or ethnicity, cannot do certain things or should not acquire for certain things or are always held back from certain opportunities. If that program is running in your mind, would you go for the opportunities that are presented to you as all? So that's a part of this too. But what these practices do in this repetition, right, and reading it every day, is going to begin to get through those deep held psychological beliefs that you have. So that's why he said number 6 is very important in all of these steps. Read your list every day, twice a day, so that you can continue to do whatever you need to do to ingrain it in your mind, right? And create that definiteness of purpose. Okay. All right. So we'll be kind of ending this soon. And so we're going to say that you may as well know that also every great leader from the dawn of civilization down to the present was a dreamer, right? Christianity is the greatest potential power in the world today. This is what he's saying in 1937 when he wrote the book, because its founder was an intense dreamer, okay, who had the vision and the imagination to see realities in their mental and spiritual form before they had been transmuted into physical form, right? We talking about Jesus? Oh, that's a whole other conversation. We talking about Jesus. Well, it's part of the conversation, right? That's the avatar of God. I have that shirt in my t-shirt brand, Avatar of God. Yes, the avatar of God is with us in the universe today. Just look around the world. A dreamer. Okay. Because his founder was an intense dreamer who had the vision and the imagination to see realities in their mental and spiritual form before they had been transmuted into physical form. You have to be able to see things in their mental and spiritual form before they become physical. If you do not see great riches in your imagination, you will never see them in your bank balance. Wait a minute now. Wait a minute. Hold on. He said, if you do not see great riches in your imagination, one will never see them in their bank balance. The mind's eye. Okay. Never in the history of America has there been so great an opportunity for practical dreamers as now exists, and this exists today. Okay. All right. The 6-year economic collapse has reduced all men substantially to the same level. A lot of us are at the same level too. If you think about it, even with the social media and things like that, look at how we used to watch TV and all that programming was all programming everybody. You had to watch what people had for you to watch. Now you can click, you're watching this. I'm just saying. This is a program that you're choosing to watch on an individual that has said, I'm going to make this video and we're going to do this and co-creating with the universe and all that good stuff. And you're tuning into this channel. This is not it. Any of us can create our avenue. There's a lot of equal leveling in the playing field right now. And even with social media right now. And some people don't, some people like that. Some people don't like that. They like anybody can jump on here and say whatever, right? But it's also an opportunity. So even in these times when this book was written in the early 1930s, even now, almost 100 years later, there's some things in common. Okay. A new race is about to be run. The stakes represent huge fortunes, which will be accumulated within the next 10 years. I think that still applies to today. The rules of the race have changed because we now live in a changed world that definitely favors the masses, those who had but little or no opportunity to win under the conditions existing. This was during the Depression, when fear paralyzed growth and development. Y'all can think about the past 4 years and what happened, see, and all that good stuff. At certain time, that was a very level playing field. A lot of things had to change during that time, right? But there is always opportunity, and this opportunity is now, right? We who are here in this race, for riches, should be encouraged to know that this changed world in which we live is demanding new ideas, new ways of doing things, new leaders, new inventions. new methods of new marketing, new books, new literature, new features for the radio, new ideas for moving pictures. That is so true. Back of all this demand for new and better things, there is one quality which must possess to win, which one must possess to win. And that is what? Definiteness of purpose. The knowledge of what one wants and a burning desire to possess it. The business depression marked the death of one age and the birth of another. That's where we are right now. Because if y'all didn't know, we're in the age of Aquarius right now. We done changed into a new age as well. That's why this information is still pertinent right now to the day. This changed world requires practical dreamers who can and will put their dreams into actions. Is that you? Can you and will you put your dreams into actions as you sit here watching this live right now? Lord willing, come back, join us next week. Tell us about the list that you created. Okay? Lord willing. All right? The practical dreamers have always been and always will be the pattern makers of civilization. We who desire to accumulate riches should remember the real leaders of the world always have been men and women, okay, who harnessed and put into practical use the intangible, unseen forces, unborn opportunity, and have converted these forces or impulses of thought into skyscrapers, cities, factories, airplanes, automobiles, and every form of convenience that makes life more pleasant. Tolerance and an open mind are practical necessities of the dreamer of today. Those who are afraid of new ideas are doomed before they start. Never has there been a time more favorable to pioneers than the present. True. There's no wild and woolly west to be conquered, right? This is back in the day, right? As in the days of the covered wagon and all that. But there is a vast business, financial, and industrial world to be remolded and redirected along with new and better lines. And we also, to bring it really to the day, we got this AI boom too. And a social media thing. And I'm telling you, a lot of people are making bank with that too. Now, I know a lot of that AI, they try to go too far with, certain things. But it's also an innovation that if you can get with it to some degree and utilize it in certain ways, it can be beneficial. Okay. I used AI to help create one of the art pieces for my t-shirt. I'm an artist, right? I got my family. I got artists in my family, but it's just, I wanted to have something at that moment. I utilize AI to, to help me to have my idea. And I'm like, okay, we can work with that. I utilize AI to help me to itemize certain things that I wanted to do for an idea that I have for something that I'd like to create. AI is a boom. It is an innovation boom. And if we can learn how to utilize that even in your business, that's going to help create many millionaires. You mark my words, already happening. And there are people who are teaching about this. Okay. So we are in times like this. When this book was written, it wasn't exactly like, but this was innovative times for them. This is innovative times for us right now. TikTok, to some degree, is a boom for a lot of people. You're on it right now. A lot of people are creating courses. I got one in my, where. You can, try that. I got DBA in my link. You know what I mean? And all that, right? A lot of people getting into DBA and learning these skills of how to, really just to have something that people can purchase. That's what I wanted. Some people can purchase when I do these lives and stuff like that, right? As I'm during my journey. My t-shirts, you can click that too. When you click, the what and where and all that good stuff, you can see that it's on page 2. You can see what my shirts and stuff look like, right? I have more designs, like, coming. Body in God, right? So these are the things that we can do. Okay. We are in a boom. TikTok is creating, thousandaires, hundreds. It just is. Now, do we know the entire future of it? No. But is it an opportunity now? Yeah. Right. Well, whatever the opportunity is, there's going to be opportunities that are always around. That you don't have to worry about what the history of it is going to be, or whatever, what the future of it is going to be. Like, what are you going to do? Or what are you already doing that you can continue to grow and that it can help you to get out of or into the position that you would like to get into? Okay. I got a little bit more charge on my phone, so I'll be ending the live soon at 250 minutes. 2 hours and 50 minutes. Yeah. All right. Okay, y'all. So the business depression marked the death of one age, the birth of another. So that's where we are now, right? So they turned their ideas from thoughts into skyscrapers, factories, airplanes, automobiles, all this other stuff. Okay. In planning, here, now listen to this. In planning to acquire your share of the riches, let no one influence you to scorn the dreamer. Don't scorn the people who dream. Don't do that. Dream big. I know you heard that before. Dream big. To win the big stakes in this changed world, you must catch the spirit of the great pioneers of the past, whose dreams have given to civilization all that it has of value. The spirit which serves as the lifeblood of our own country, your opportunity and mine to develop and market our talents. Catch the spirit of the great pioneers of the past now and the present. Let us not forget. Okay, here we go. Now he talking now. This is his words. He talking about Columbus now. We can say a lot about Columbus. Okay, we want to be politically correct because Columbus has some issues, but he was a pioneer in certain areas, and depends on the way you want to look at it. So we're gonna do it like that. So he said, "Let us not forget Columbus dreamed of an unknown world." Well, unknown to those people because it was known to the people that were there, but staked his life on the existence of such a world and discovered it, right? Copernicus, the great astronomer, dreamed of a multiplicity of worlds and revealed them. No one denounced him as impractical after he had triumphed. Instead, the world worshipped at his shrine, thus proving once more that success requires no apologies. Failure permits no alibis. Okay. If the thing you wish to do is right and you believe in it, go ahead and do it. If what you wish to do is right and you believe in it, go ahead and do it. Put your dream across and never mind what they say. If you meet with temporary defeat, for they perhaps do not know that every failure brings with it the seed of an equivalent success. He's motivating us right now. Henry Ford, poor and uneducated, dreamed of a horseless carriage, went to work with what tools he possessed without waiting for an opportunity to favor him, and now evidence of his dream belts the entire earth. He has put more wheels into operation than any man who ever lived because he was not afraid to back his dreams. Thomas Edison dreamed of a lamp that could be operated by electricity, began where he stood to put his dream into action. And despite more than 10,000 failures, He stood by that dream until he made it a physical reality. Practical dreamers do not quit. Wellen dreamed of a chain of cigar stores. I'm not into the smoking, but we'll go with that. Transform his dream into action, and now the United Cigar Stores occupy the best corners in America. Lincoln dreamed of freedom for the black, right? The people who were enslaved. Put his dream into action, barely missed living to see a united North and South translate his dream into reality. We know there's a lot more behind that, right? But that's part of that. The Wright brothers dreamed of a machine that will fly through the air. Now one may see evidence all over the world that they dreamed soundly, right? Your dreams might seem to be impossible, but when they're done, people are going to be looking at you like, oh, I knew he could do that. I knew she could do that, or whatever, right? Or maybe they still won't believe it, but it is what it is. Okay? And it goes on and on. So Lord willing, we'll pick up here next time. And we'll just say the world has become accustomed to new discoveries, right? Nay, he said, it has shown a willingness to reward the dreamer who gives the world a new idea. So your idea could be a new idea or whatever it is, but it's your idea. A burning desire to be and to do is the starting point from which the dreamer must take off. Dreams are not born of indifference, laziness, or lack of ambition. Okay? So we're going to end it there. And I feel motivated. Really quick, I'm not going to go over this book, but there's another book that I have. It's called Permission to Succeed. I just want to end this live with that notion that you have the permission to succeed. This is a book by Noah St. John. I have actually an autographed copy of it. He actually autographed it. Oh, I done slid the paper. I had to call the office to get it. It's not even still in print, but Noah St. John does still do work and stuff like that. But you had the permission to succeed, right? With any business endeavor that you're doing, do it. We are studying Think and Grow Rich. Lord willing, we'll be here next Tuesday. Maybe around the same time. I think I jumped on here about 11 a.m. So we'll see how that goes. I'll probably, make a post or something like that to let people know. But yeah, if you don't have this book already, get the book, Think and Grow Rich. Listen to it. The audio, you can listen to that for free on YouTube or something like come on now, right? Get the PDF. I mean, mine, costs a few bucks or something like that on Amazon. So, let's just know that these things are possible. We're going to end it with a little bit of Les Brown. And thank everybody for checking on live. And hopefully you will, we'll see each other hopefully next week with our lists done. And having read them and just putting our goals out there and being willing to put in the effort that we need to see them through to fruition and knowing that it's possible. So let's listen to a little bit of more of a Les Brown before we go. Okay. And I appreciate y'all. We've been here 2 hours and 58 minutes, 15 seconds. We live on YouTube and TikTok right now. If you want to see the replay of this and the other episodes, go to Wealth with Tia on YouTube and follow me here at Solar Alignment. You can also follow me here at Wealth with Tia. I'm on TikTok as well on that one. My t-shirt brand is called Body in God. And you can follow me there too and all that good stuff, or just, click the link and all that good stuff. But let's listen to a little bit of Les Brown to remind us it ain't over till we win. And that is possible. All right. Appreciate you. All right. Let's see what he got to say.
Let's say that together, please. It's possible.
It's possible.
See, sometimes we can't say, I can do that. But what we can say, that it's possible that I can have my dream. as we run toward it, as we work on it day in and day out.
Day in and day out.
No one, ladies and gentlemen, could have convinced me when I started out just over 6 years ago, working on my dream. And I want you to think about whatever your dream is, because I was willing to take a chance. And most people won't do that.
He said most people won't take the chances. I can't run it. I got to stop it, a little bit here and there. He said nobody could have told him what he was going to achieve. And he was willing to take the chance to get on those stages after he was called educably mentally unable to learn. What are you willing to take the chance to do in your life that, you weren't always willing to do, maybe? Are you willing to take the chance? Knowing that the universe is going to meet you where you are, and that putting effort into it is going to be kind of like the beginning of what you need to do. Not all you need to do, but the beginning of what you need to do to have support from the universe. What are you willing to take the chance on?
Most of the people that you talk to try and bring them into the business, these are not risk takers. Most people have done all that they're ever going to do. They raise a family, they earn a living, and then they die.
All right, so he's saying most people are not going to want to do it. All right, so my charge is telling me it's time for me to go. But check this out. It's called It's Not Over Until You Win. It's wonderful to vibe with all of you. I appreciate you. And we're about to end the live. And hopefully we will see you next time. We did 3 hours. Think and grow rich. Continue to think, grow rich, do your list. And see you next time. And follow me. Okay. Appreciate you.